The reason why you struggle to engage learners is often because of this. Imagine your dog really needs to go out, but it's pouring outside. Would you try to put your raincoat on him? That's obviously not going to work. Yet that's exactly what happens when you find an amazing idea that really grabs the learner's attention and makes the content crystal clear. So you apply it to your program thinking it's going to be a massive hit, only to find that the learner doesn't care and the content is now harder to understand, not easier. So in this video, you're going to see why an idea can make one program a success but totally tank another, so that you can avoid ideas that seem amazing on the surface but will actually wreck your learner engagement. To illustrate the first way this happens, I'm going to show you a training game and you tell me if you can spot what's wrong. Here's an escape room that teaches you how to bake bread. So I've got a list of ingredients here that I've got to find in this kitchen. Okay, so water is easy. Check that one off the list. Oh, this cupboard is locked, so let's look for the key. It's not in this drawer, but there's some yeast here. And here's some flour, but still no key. And now I've found the key, so now I can unlock this cupboard and find the salt. And now that I've got all the ingredients, the door to the oven opens and I can actually bake the bread. So you might have already had an inkling about what's wrong here as soon as I said
an escape room that teaches you how to bake bread.
Because what am I actually doing here? I'm looking for ingredients. This is training me to unlock virtual cupboards, and I'm learning where things are in a non-existent kitchen. There's almost no overlap between what this game is getting me to do, unlocking cupboards, and what I'm supposed to be learning, making bread. And when we force a bad combo like this, we end up with bits of the game that have nothing to do with the content. They're just leftovers from the original game. And when the learner experiences those bits, they start wondering why they're doing something that's irrelevant to the topic, and that can destroy their engagement. Plus, the content side also has parts that don't fit well with the game, so it ends up having to be abridged and contorted to fit the game. That actually makes it harder to understand, not easier. Now, that doesn't mean your game should always be a simulation of what the person's going to do in real life. For example, Cash Flow is a board game designed to help people understand personal finance. One of the game's messages is that you need to break out of this rat race where you're earning money, then spending it, and never building up any savings. So players literally start the game in a rat race phase, going around and around, trying to get out of this so that they can start building wealth. Now, I don't know anything about finance, but I love the fact that this game board is a literal representation of what the designer's trying to get across. He didn't take an existing game and try to squeeze his content into it. He built the game to fit the learning objective. The learner feels the frustration of the rat race and he can't wait to break out of it. That makes it memorable. The second way this can happen is when we use what I call the universally applicable games. These are your Jeopardies, Family Feuds, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and so on. Maybe you haven't made a game like that, but odds are you've played one in a course. And to illustrate the issue with that, I'm going to give you 3 seconds to answer a question. Ready? What's the capital of New Zealand? Did you get it right? If you did, you get 10 points, yay you, but you didn't learn anything. And if you didn't know it, you just learned something, but you necessarily had to fail before you could learn, and you don't get any points. So quiz games force us to fail before we learn something. They have no real mechanism built into them to teach us a really pure assessment. But maybe that's the point. Maybe that's what you're after, an assessment. In that case, these can work, but they still have their issues. I can't tell you how often clients call and they say, we want a game, but please can it not be Jeopardy? There's a lot of quiz fatigue out there, and when you give learners something they feel they've seen a million times, they mentally check out, and you might even get the dreaded eye roll. On top of that, when you use a one-size-fits-all game, you're missing out on one of the best ways to make your content perfectly clear to the learner. For example, we once had to design a program to teach doctors about different drugs for eczema. These drugs were all safe and effective to treat eczema, but some of them couldn't be given to patients with conditions like heart disease or asthma or diabetes. And when we analyzed the content, it became obvious that really what people had to learn was a sort of table showing the relationship between each drug and each condition. And looking at the content organized like that gave us the idea for eczema bingo. I still wish it had been shingles so we could have called it shingle bingo, But the point is, winning at this game requires knowing this board that's actually a mnemonic for the content they need to know. So if a game applies to everything, it can't mimic the specific structure of your content to help get it across. One size fits all often means it doesn't fit anything well. And if you're thinking, who's got time to design a custom game based on each content? It's way faster to apply a template, right? But I'd ask, how much time are you actually putting into picking the right template out of thousands, twisting and bending your content to make it fit, getting buy-in for the game when your only argument is about fun, not results, not to mention having to re-explain the content when the learner gets confused because your game is working against the content. It's easier than you think to find the best game for your content because there's already 3 important game ingredients hidden in your content, no matter what that content is. Number 1, reaching the learning objectives already takes an effort on the part of the learner, so that's the challenge in your game. And overcoming those challenges feels good. That's the fun in your game. And your content already has some internal logic. That's the structure of your game. And when you just bring out those ingredients that are already in your content, you get a relevant, engaging game that makes the content clearer, and it's based on creating productive fun. And if you want to see exactly step by step how to find the game in your content quickly, check out this video next. See you there.